Welcome to Headstones and Microphones, where we use AI to step into the past through a researched, first-person simulation of history's most interesting people. I am your host, Calvin. While we've added some creative storytelling, our goal is to inspire your own study of these fascinating lives. Now, let's meet our guest. Today, we are joined by a man who truly redefined the meaning of global superstardom. He is the king of pop himself, Michael Jackson. Michael, it is such a joy to have you here.
Oh, thank you so much, Calvin.
We're thrilled to have you. Now, for those who may somehow not know who you are you?
Well, I'm Michael Joseph Jackson. Most people know me as a singer and a dancer, but I always thought of myself more as a storyteller and a creator who just wanted to make people smile.
A beautiful way to put it. When and where were you born?
I was born on August 29th, 1958 in Gary, Indiana. It was a very simple beginning in a very busy house.
And what was your given name at birth?
It was Michael Joseph Jackson.
Is there a story behind your birth name?
Not a long one. My mother, Catherine, and my father, Joseph, just chose names they liked. With 9 children in the house, I think they were just happy to find names that fit us all so well.
I can imagine. What was your hometown of Gary like growing up?
Gary was a hard-working, industrial place. My father worked at the steel mill, and you could hear the sounds of the city all around us. We lived in a tiny 2-bedroom house on Jackson Street. Isn't that funny? It was crowded, but there was always music coming from our windows.
And what was your family life like with all those siblings?
It was intense, but full of song. We were a family that sang all the time. My mother was so sweet and would play the piano, and we'd take the furniture out of the living room just to dance. We even had songwriting competitions while we were washing the dishes.
That sounds like a lot of fun. What kind of kid were you?
I was very curious and very sensitive. I spent a lot of my time working because we started the group so young, so I grew up in an adult world. I was often quiet and observant, just soaking everything in.
What were your biggest fears growing up?
I think my biggest fear was making a mistake or disappointing my father. He was very strict and we had to be perfect in our rehearsals. I also feared the feeling of being lonely, even when I was surrounded by people.
What did you dream of becoming as a child?
I always dreamed of being an entertainer. I watched the greats like James Brown and Jackie Wilson and just wanted to move people the way they did. I wanted to create something that would last forever.
What were some of your favorite activities in school?
I loved reading and art. I could look at a painting or a sculpture and totally lose myself in it. Philosophy was actually one of my favorite subjects, and of course I loved anything involving animals.
What was your first job?
My first real job was performing with my brothers. We were just little kids, but we were professionals playing in local clubs and arenas all over the Midwest.
Was there a moment where you realized you were different from everyone else?
It was probably when I realized I didn't have a normal childhood. While other kids were playing outside, I was in nightclubs or recording studios. I remember looking out the window of a studio and seeing kids playing in a park and just wishing I could join them for 5 minutes.
That's a heavy realization for a kid. What's a decision that changed everything for you, but felt small at the time?
Choosing to step out as a solo artist while still being with my brothers. When I recorded Got to Be There, it felt like just another project, but it was the beginning of finding my own voice.
What was your biggest break?
Signing with Motown Records in 1968, that changed everything for the whole family. Moving to California and working with Berry Gordy was like stepping into a dream.
What were your biggest struggles before success?
The grueling rehearsals and the pressure to succeed. We had to be perfect or we'd have to do it all over again. It was hard work and we sacrificed a lot of play for that success.
Did you ever consider quitting?
Never. I loved the music too much. Even when it was hard, the feeling of being on stage and seeing the audience react, there's nothing else like it in the world.
Were there any specific daily habits or routines that you feel were essential to your success?
Practice. I would practice my dance moves in front of a mirror for hours and hours until they were second nature. I also loved to meditate and find quiet moments to visualize what I wanted to create.
What job would you have had if fame never happened?
I think I would have worked with animals or maybe been a teacher. I've always felt a deep connection to children in the natural world.
What was your life like before fame?
It was very simple. We didn't have much money, but we had each other and we had music. It was a lot of standard Gary, Indiana life, school, chores, and then music until we fell asleep.
How did relationships change after success?
It became harder to know who to trust. When you become that famous, people sometimes see the image instead of the person, but my family and my true friends always kept me grounded.
Did fame bring happiness?
It brought the ability to do so much good and to share my music with the world, which made me very happy. But it also brought a lot of isolation. You have to find happiness within yourself, not in the headlines.
What was the downside of becoming famous?
The loss of privacy. I couldn't just walk down the street or go to a park. I spent a lot of my life behind gates or in hotels, and that can be very lonely.
What misconceptions did people have about you?
People thought I was weird or strange because I liked things like magic and toys and animals, but I was just trying to recapture the childhood I never had. I just wanted to stay young at heart.
What was your darkest moment?
There were times when the media was very unkind and said things that weren't true. It's hard when the world is looking at you and they don't see the real you.
What past regrets did you carry that you spoke about?
I regretted not having more time to just be a kid. I often talked about how I felt I grew up in an adult world and how that affected me later on.
What's something people misunderstood about your life?
My love for children. I saw children as the purest form of humanity. They don't judge and they have so much wonder. I just wanted to protect that wonder for them.
Tell me about a time when everything went wrong and how did you handle it?
During the filming of a commercial, my hair caught on fire. It was terrifying and very painful. I handled it by focusing on my recovery and trying to stay positive, though it changed a lot of things for me physically.
Did fame and fortune change your life?
It changed my circumstances, certainly. I could build a place like Neverland and help so many charities, but in my heart I always felt like that same boy from Gary who just loved to dance.
Who had the biggest influence on your life?
My mother, Catherine, she's an angel. And professionally, James Brown, he was my greatest inspiration. I learned so much just by watching how he moved.
What was life like in your final years?
I was very focused on my children. Being a father was the most important job I ever had. I was also preparing for a big series of shows called This Is It. I wanted to give my fans one last great experience.
What were you working on in your career before you passed away?
I was rehearsing every day for the This Is It concerts in London. I was so excited to get back on stage and show the world what we had been creating.
When and where and how did you pass away and how old were you?
I passed away on June 25th, 2009 in Los Angeles, California. I was 50 years old. It was a very sudden thing, right as I was getting ready to start a new chapter.
What's a random fact about you most people have never heard?
I love to read philosophy and short stories, and I was actually a big fan of the Three Stooges. They always made me laugh.
What's the craziest rumor ever told about you?
Oh, there were so many. People said I slept in an oxygen chamber or that I tried to buy the bones of the Elephant Man. None of it was true, of course, but it sure made for interesting newspapers.
What was your most unique habit?
I would often climb trees to write songs. I called my favorite one the Giving Tree at Neverland. I felt so inspired when I was up there.
What was your favorite food?
I loved Mexican food, but I also had a real weakness for KFC fried chicken. Sometimes you just need a taste of home.
Did you have a favorite restaurant?
I liked a lot of places, but I really enjoyed when my personal chefs would make home-style meals like a really good macaroni and cheese.
What was your favorite book?
I loved Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie. The idea of a boy who never grows up and can fly away to a world of magic, that really spoke to me.
Did you have any known rivalries?
The media liked to say I had a rivalry with Prince, but we actually had a lot of respect for each other. We were both just trying to push the boundaries of music.
Tell us a story nobody talks about.
I used to love going to the zoo in every city I visited. I'd sneak in and just watch the animals for hours. I remember watching a cougar once and being so fascinated by its movements. I tried to incorporate that grace into my dancing.
What's your funniest behind-the-scenes moment?
During rehearsals, I would sometimes just start doing silly voices or characters to make the crew laugh. I loved to keep the energy light.
Did you ever prank someone?
Oh, all the time. I loved water balloon fights. We used to have giant water battles at Neverland with guests and staff. It was the best way to stay young.
What was the most outlandish purchase you made?
Probably the Sony ATV music catalog. People thought I was crazy to spend that much, but I knew the value of those songs, including all the Beatles hits. It was a great investment.
What advice would you give people chasing success?
Believe in yourself even when no one else does. Study the greats and then find your own way to be unique. And most importantly, do it with love. If you put love into your work, the world will feel it.
Michael, this has been truly incredible. Do you have any closing remarks about the interview or the stories you shared that you would like to share with the listeners before we sign off?
Just that I hope people remember me for the music and the love I tried to give. Life is precious, and we should all try to make the world a better place. Thank you so much for having me, Calvin. It's been a beautiful afternoon.
Thank you, Michael. It's been an absolute honor. Michael Jackson, everyone. What a journey through the life of a legend. We touched on the small beginnings in Gary, the heights of Thriller, and the heart of a man who just wanted to heal the world. And that wraps up another conversation from Beyond the Grave. Thanks for joining us on the Headstones and Microphones podcast. Remember, legends may die, but their stories never do. Please help spread the word by sharing and following the pod.